What's going on, everybody? This is Emerald Knight Leon back with another deck analysis. Today I am looking at WarGreymon X-Antibody. It's a deck that over the last few weeks I have been trying to go to tournaments, get some, usage out of it, some data, so I can make this video. And it's certainly an interesting deck. I do enjoy a lot of its DP-based deletion effects, very similar to Gallantmon, and definitely in a matchup against, say, D-Reaper, it very much performs very well. But starting off over here, we've got 4 copies of BT5 Koromon and 1 copy of Greymon. These are eggs that you could probably switch around if you wanted. The reason I like the Koromon is because you're running tribal, essentially. Everything you have is a Greymon and an Agumon, and you're going to be able to get that draw power from Koromon's effect. Meanwhile, Greymon is primarily, you're going to use it once you get into your X-Antibody Greymon, since it only works with a Digimon with 6,000 DP or more. Moving on, we go into our rookies. We're running 4 copies of Agumon from BT5, 4 copies of Agumon X-Antibody, 2 copies of Promo Agumon, and 4 copies of Starter Deck 7 Agumon. Now, I would say if you have 4 copies of Promo Agumon, run them, but you could also run the Starter Deck 7 one. They essentially do the same thing, where the Starter Deck one will only give you the 2,000 when you're attacking a player, and the Promo one just gives it right away no matter who you're attacking. For our other Agumons, though, we are running the 4 BT5 because they're our Searcher. They're our Searcher, they're looking for our Greymons, they're looking for our Omnimon X-Antibody or our Blitz Omnimon if you're deciding to run that. So, wanting to just get all the pieces in hand at the start of the game is really going to be crucial for getting the win. Also, X-Antibody Agumon also does some searching. So, on play or when digivolving, reveal top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Greymon or Omnimon in its name, and X-Antibody among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So, that's also very nice and useful for searching for our pieces here. I was originally running the BT1 Agumon, but I realized kind of early on, it's good if you're running a lot more Tamers, but we're only running 5 here. So it doesn't really search very well for that. Moving on to our champions, our level 4s. We're running 4 copies of BT5 Greymon, 4 copies of BT9 Greymon X-Antibody, and 2 copies of Starter Deck 1 Greymon. So, what we're doing here is you could run these in a different, order. I've seen some deck ideas running the BT1 Greymon with the plus 2,000, which is also kind of why we're running the BT5, because it does the exact same thing. Also, if you have all the pieces in hand and the memory to do it, you just reduce the cost of going into it by 1, which is very nice. Then going into the free Greymon X-Antibody. Or if you're wanting to run more security checks, then your Starter Deck Greymon is going to be what you're running. Moving into our level 5s, we're running 2 copies of Metal Greymon Ultras Mode from BT5, 3 copies of BT7's Metal Greymon, and 3 copies of Metal Greymon X-Antibody. Why are we running this Ultras Mode over the promo one? Well, I want to run it mainly for the extra 2,000 DP. We are swinging in. And with the possibility of people running Death X or Yuken, I don't want to get bodied in security. There are other things you could do to prevent getting bodied, like running ADP, which is nice and all, but I don't want to get bodied. especially if I'm going into one of my WarGreys like BT1, which gets ADP there. The extra 4,000 from these two will bump it up to 15, so it's less likely to get bodied. And if we're on top of one of these Agus, then that's bumping him to 17, making him bodying everything. We are running the BT7 Metal Greymon not for its on-play. I couldn't care less about its on-play. Its on-play is nice and all, but I couldn't care less. The reason why I'm running this one is because of its inherited. When one of our opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain 1 memory. This is crucial when we're running X-Antibody WarGrey, because at the end of our attack, we're going to be deleting something. So getting that slight that memory refund off of his own memory refund is going to be very nice. As for Metal Grey X-Antibody, he naturally gains a security attack +1, which then translates into his, if we Digivolve him again, so that'll stay. And if he has Metal Grey or X-Antibody in its Digivolution cards, he gets +3,000 until the end of the turn, which also translates into if we Digivolve him again. On our level 6s, we're running 1 BT1 WarGreymon. If you have more, that's great. I only have 1, so I feel like that's the best I'm going to run him at. 2 copies of EX1 WarGrey with the Blitz. We're mainly running it this way. So if we're going into Blitz and we have the X-Antibody under, we Digivolve into WarGrey, and we use his memory refund off of security checks. He also, if our opponent for some reason has a blocker, we can delete a blocker if we have a Tamer in play. And then we're also running 3 copies of WarGrey X-Antibody. This is a card I personally feel, they should have swapped his effects. His top effect of when a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, gain 1 memory, that should have been a once per turn thing. Because that is kind of insane. Because that works if he has multiple checks. Theoretically speaking. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if he has multiple checks, I should be getting 1 memory for each card removed. There might be a ruling on that already. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Be much appreciated. But also, end of attack once per turn. If WarGreymon or X-Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP. It's at 12,000. With the amount of DP we're getting from a lot of our Agus and Greys, he is bumping himself up by 6,000, so he's at 18,000. So anything below 18,000 is dead because of him. Which is really nice, especially when you're going against D-Reaper. Otherwise, for our level 7, we are running Omnimon X-Antibody. I like Omnimon X-Antibody. Do I want to keep using him? I don't know. In my tests, he has proved very nice, but the lack of a reliable, go for game card is slightly annoying, because that is giving my opponent the extra turn that they might need to win, and I'm not happy. So I might swap it out for the Blitz Omni. Who knows? Moving on to our Tamers, we are running 3 Atomic Megaloblasters. I personally feel Atomic Megaloblaster is a better option card than Gaia Force 0. Is a better option card than Gaia Force. And this might be a controversial statement. It is a better option card than Dark Gaia Force. Why? Because all of those outside of Dark Gaia Force only target 1 Digimon. And even Dark Gaia Force, coming out of security, can only target 1 Digimon. So, meanwhile, we have a card like Atomic Megaloblaster, which not only is going to allow me to target multiple bodies on the board as long as their DP is 10,000 or less, but its security does not stop me from doing that. In fact, it will still let me do that and not restrict me to one body. I personally feel that is a lot better. So I prefer using Atomic Megaloblaster over any of the Gaia Force cards. We'll also be running 3 copies of X-Antibody. This is just using this to go into warping our way to our WarGreymon X-Antibody. Very nice, coming out of security, gaining a memory, adding it to our hand. You're going to see a lot of players, though, running the Madoki Beta and the Chumons to prevent that memory from coming in, which is very annoying. However, meanwhile, on to our Tamers, we are running 2 copies of Tai Kamiya. He's our memory setter, and we're also using him for the security attack bonus. We'll also be running 3 copies of Cool Boy. Why aren't we running 4 copies? I don't have 4 copies. I got 4 copies in another deck. Of anybody who has seen my unboxing video, might remember, I only got 7 copies of Cool Boy. Only 7. And Cool Boy is the analog youth of this set. He is expensive for someone who doesn't always have the money to work with. It's the exact same reason as why in my Metal Guru video, I'm not going to have a full play set of the promo Garurumon. It's the exact same reason. Promo Garurumon is around $12 right now. If I want a full play set, I have to spend over $30 for 3 cards. I don't want to do that. But moving on, there are other cards you can tech in, and there is a lot. So I'm just gonna cut this and bring this to 2 specific cards. Agumon and Agu Bond of Bravery. Why are these here? So, interesting story. A few days ago, I met a guy who wanted to try to make Agu Bond more competitive. And I'm here looking at this and I'm like, okay, I think I know what we could do. What I did is basically I took out parts of these to add the 4 BT6 Agumons. Instead of running X-Antibody, you're running 3 copies of Agubond. You're running Delicate Plans instead of Megaloblasters. You are running, instead of Cool Boys, you're running the Tai Kamiya because he's on a budget. And we were able to make a Agubond X-Antibody deck from this. Now, if people want to experiment with that, see if they can make that work, by all means, do it. But that is why these are here. In case you're on a budget, you have some of the older cards, you don't have the money to work with something, you know? Gotta do what you gotta do. Outside of those, though, are different Digi-Eggs. We could run Demi-Meramon, Kupurimon, and Koromon. All share the same thing. You get 1000 DP. With Koromon, that's because you're on an Agumon or a Greymon. I personally prefer the draw power. We have BT1 Agumon searching for Tamers. As we mentioned, the BT6 Agumon. EX1 Agumon is interesting. It looks for Tamers, but it also looks for Agumon, so it works better in the Bond of Bravery X-Antibody idea. However, this could also theoretically look for Agumon X-Antibody, because it is one Digimon with Agumon in its name. So that could work. Starter Deck 1 Agumon is still a good card. It is giving you a plus 1000, so that shouldn't be looked down upon by anybody. The BT1 Greymon giving the plus 2000 just in general is nice. If you're not running Blitz Omni, Aguni and Burning Gray can work, as they are hybrids. They can go for game. If you're running more yellow, Rise Greymon and Rise Greymon X-Antibody are viable options, as they both will let you play Tamers for free. In the case of WarGreymon X-Antibody, you're also, if he has WarGreymon or X-Antibody in its evolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 DP for the turn for each yellow and red tamer you have. And then for each tamer you have in play, he gets plus 1,000, which is really nice. We also have the EX1 Metal Greymon. He'll give us piercing if we wanted. As for our different Greymons, the other Greymons that... There's only one real Greymon that could work, and that's the starter deck 1 Greymon. For every 2 Digivolution cards he gains security attack plus 1, which is really nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't specify certain things. So, you know, that's it's okay. It works. You're still gonna, if you don't have the X-Antibody on him, he's still gonna hit like a truck because you have the plus 6,000. So he's still gonna be at 18,000, which is great. I want to see someone try to figure out Merciful Mode, because Merciful Mode, I feel could work. I just, for some reason, can't think of how. I don't know. ADP, always a good staple if you have the room for it. For board removal, Gigastorm, Lightning Joust can work. Fireball if you want the extra draw power and you're not concerned about taking out the enemy. Gaia 4 is 0. So it can become a 6 cost if you have a Digimon with X-Antibody and its Digivolution cards. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 13,000 DP or less. Then one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name may attack your opponent. That's okay. If someone's able to find a good way to make it work, by all means, do it. I just don't really enjoy it. We got Red Memory Boost for your searching. Sunrise Buster is a card that I love. I just wish I could find a good way of making it work in my deck. Originally, when I built this, I was running it with the WarGreymon and then some Tai Ankaris. It just wasn't working out for me, though, so I just kind of said, yeah, no. It's great, though. You get to play a yellow or red tamer for free. Then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for each yellow and or red tamer you have in play. Meaning that if you had like 2 copies of Tai Ankari out, you'd be getting the full benefits of both them being a red and a yellow tamer. Meaning that's 6,000 off of Kari's side, 6,000 off of Tai's side. You're getting like a full 12,000. It's like, come on, that's beautiful. If Matt and Sora is an interesting card, I like it because at the end of the day, with the amount of drawing and you're going to be doing with X-Antibody decks, you're going to have a huge hand. And your opponent's going to have one too. So you're practically guaranteed to get the 2 memory here. And, you know, if you're able to, you attacking with a red Digimon, becoming unsuspended, you may suspend it to return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to their hand, which is nice. Marcus is great for its memory gaining. And again, if you don't have Cool Boy, Tai Kamiya can still work as like a red version of Yuji. So yeah. But that is it for this deck analysis. I hope you enjoyed it. Another deck analysis will be coming out in the next day or 2, maybe 3 days. I still need to get some data on other decks. It's a process here. I am also working on a little project since I have finally started Digimon Survive. And I am actually excited of doing this little project. I'm creating a whole PowerPoint and everything. But I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a like, comment, tell me what you think about this. What would you change? You know, what are your thoughts? You know, is this consistent enough? Can it be more consistent? Who knows? I will see you all in the next video. Peace.